Court, 11 Cal 5th, 404. Referring to facts not in evidence is clearly misconduct. Now I'm citing the Supreme Court for People v. Hill, 1998, 17 Cal 4th, 800. As the court is aware, the court has now admonished Mr. Vanderhook once in open court, twice privately, about his methods of cross-examination. But it has now gone to the point where it's not simply a matter of that it is ineffective, nonsensical, and baffling. It has got to the point where it constitutes clear evidence of prosecutorial misconduct. And what is frustrating is, even after multiple objections are sustained, he kept doing it. I'm asking the court to make a finding of prosecutorial error. I would ask the court to instruct the jury to disregard Mr. Vanderhook's statements with respect to the absence of blood being found in the room. Mr. Vanderhook should be admonished that if he continues to misstate evidence, the court will consider contempt proceedings, because we're at that point. The court has now cautioned him, offered guidance. The court even stated, "I'm trying to help you," 3 times, and he has disregarded it. And so those are my requests.
Okay, thank you. All right, for the people.
Yes, Your Honor. And so during the questioning, I was trying to get it right. I was trying to figure out what I was getting wrong in the questioning. And then at the very end, to make sure that I was getting it right, I went over and I got the exhibit. And the very next step was to display the exhibit to the jury. I think the prosecution's been beat up pretty bad on this point in front of the jury as far as the shorts and the shirt. This is not something that I would intentionally get right and then get wrong and then get beat up again. I would like to get it right. That's why I wanted to put it on. And my very next questioning is to show the DNA report to everyone so that we're making sure that we get it right, and talk about exactly what's in the report. This morning was definitely one of the most I don't know what the right word is. Was thrown off my game very much during this morning. There was a lot of objections that were being made, and one of them that was specifically made was in front of the jury. It was stated multiple times, prosecutorial error, despite the fact that in motions in limine, the court specifically ruled that those words were not to be said in front of the jury. And so, I tried to center myself during lunch, and I'm going to show the exhibit to the jury as I was about to.
What exhibit are you going to show? Are you showing the Megan Wood presumptive positive for blood?
Yes, I'm showing that report so that we can make sure that we're getting it.
Why are we showing that to this witness? And he's not skilled at reading reports. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, yeah. You understand there was a presumptive positive for blood on the computer, right?
It's confirmatory too, Your Honor.
Okay, and confirmatory.
And so.
So why did you ask the question?
Because I was mixed up. And so that's why.
Well, that's what you should have said first. You said, "I apologize. I was confused."
I was confused, and that's why I went to the binder to go get the report, because I was not understanding how I was getting it wrong, and so I wanted to pull the report so that I could see where am I wrong here? What am I getting wrong about this?
Okay, so thank you. So Mr. Hutchinson, here's the deal. I want to build in time for. We're moving past this today, but I'm going to allow you to file a brief and seek a remedy. It doesn't have to be a long brief, but I really do need your argument sharpened. You have some cases you want to cite, and you want to request a remedy for it. And so I just think we need to slow down, and I want to see it in writing, and so I can judge it rather than make a rash decision right now. And then I think you do need to, in that briefing, in both sides on the issue, address Mr. Vanderhook's point about making a in-court objection of prosecutorial error. I want to understand where we're at regarding that. I would prefer not to have that objection, and if I already made an order to that effect, then that's important to me.
Briefly respond. The court did not make an order.
I don't recall that.
No, this is the problem we're dealing with. He keeps saying things that are made up, and the court made no such order. I addressed it. I do not use the term misconduct. I used prosecutorial error.
That's fine.
And that's the important distinction. The California Supreme Court has recognized that for prosecutorial error, unintentional is not a defense.
Right,
And-
no, I appreciate that, but what I'm asking you to do is put it down so I can judge it in the full context and then address the need for any remedy. You know, I think your objection though, before you get to prosecutorial error, is a evidentiary objection, right?
Right.
So if you make that and then you could say, you know, you can, outside the presence of the jury, you can then reserve and make the point that you're trying to make right now.
And for the first 2 points, I did not. The court, for this, I made misstates evidence, and now I brought the prosecutorial error, so I will continue to do that.
Right, that's the procedure.
And I would ask, the court can ask the court reporter to show us where the court made this order that I cannot use those terms, because based on my memory, that didn't happen.
I don't have that memory either, but I'm also, have enough self-awareness to know that I made a lot of orders at the beginning of the case, and that's why I like to slow down and make sure we have a context for everything. Okay, thank you. I think we've got that, but I don't want these type of exhibits that he is not a consumer of shown to a lay witness. It just doesn't mean anything to do that. So I would advise the parties on that. That's not helpful, and it would render an objection for lacking foundation, which would be sustained. So then the next point is these two Apple notes that are either song lyrics or poems or whatever. The objection to that is sustained. The prosecution is precluded. And the reason for that is that, let me ask you this as a factual foundation also, Mr. Hudson. Were these documents disclosed to any of the three doctors who evaluated and met with the defendant?
My belief is no. Only doctors were given the knife in hand. All 3 doctors were given that.
Okay.
Dr. Reed was provided those.
Dr. Reed was provided them. Okay, so here's the deal. If the people believe that these records were important on the issue of state of mind, they should have been produced to the doctors for review. Maybe they were to Dr. Reed. Second, they should have been addressed in the case in chief. They were not. Third, they should have been addressed to the court, given the context of the one that was admitted. And so it's entirely unfair at this point for the defense, who's in the middle of their case, almost closing their case, to not have this vetted through the 3 doctors, not have an opportunity to direct examine the defendant on these. The defense was reasonably believing that, hey, we were done with Apple Notes. The court ruled against the defense on the knife in hand. You can see the strategy of the defendant. Defense counsel addressed that with the defense. And so at this point, it's just not due process to have these Apple Notes now entered into the case at this stage when state of mind is the central issue. And we had 3 experts that have already testified. They haven't been asked about it. And the people's case in chief is come and gone. So that's the ruling on that. It's 353, the objection sustained. And then we have clarity on the final objection Mr. Hutchinson raised. And so we're in the defense case. Anything else before we get to jury?
No.
Okay, for the prosecution, anything else at this time?
No.
Okay, great. All right, so let's get back to work, and we'll do a traditional all right for the afternoon session. Thank you, folks. Off the record. Okay, let's go on the record that the people of the state of California versus Carlos Dominguez, and all parties are present. Mr. Dominguez is on the witness stand. He's subject to cross-examination. I want to say good afternoon to our jury. Thank you for your patience. I had a few minutes of extra work I needed to do on the case with the lawyers, and we're ready to get back to work now, so thank you. All right, so Mr. Vanderhook, your witness.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
When we were talking before the break, we were talking about what was found in your room. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And what was found in your house generally, right?
Yes.
And what was from the bathroom sink and the tub drain were not blood, correct?
Objection, outside scope. Foundation.
Foundation sustained.
And what was on your computer was in fact blood, correct?
I don't know.
Right? But you testified earlier about cutting your hand near your computer, correct?
Yes.
And so it would make sense that there was in fact blood on your computer?
Yes.
And you testified that that cut happened to your hand, and you said something about it being between your fingers. Where specifically was the cut on your hand that was between your fingers?
It was between the thumb and the index finger.
And this happened in your room by your computer?
Yes.
And so I have here people's 49. From people's 49, I'm going to show you here's 7055. You able to see that, sir?
Yes.
And so, of the cuts on your hand, which is the one where you cut yourself in your room, causing blood on your computer,
Objection, misstates the testimony.
or possibly causing the blood on your computer?
The one on the left?
All right, and using a laser pointer, can you show us which, or where on your left hand that injury is?
Right here.
Understood. So, on your right hand, it looks like you have some scrapes or cuts or something on your knuckles, as well as some injuries to the back of your hand. Do you see those?
Yes.
Where are those from?
I'm not sure.
If you were to use a knife to stab something, would you be using your right or your left hand?
My right hand, I think.
And so, I understand your testimony is that you didn't remember stabbing people, or in 2 cases you don't remember the stabbing, and in the third one you don't believe that you had a knife in your hand or don't remember having a knife in your hand. If you had done such a stabbing, would it have been with your right hand?
Objection, speculation.
It's sustained.
Do you throw a ball with your right hand?
Yes.
And do you write with your right hand?
Yes.
And are you just generally right-handed?
Yes.
Do you do any tasks with your left hand?
No.
I want to back up just a little bit. We talked about Sycamore Park. We talked about this person with the flashlight. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did they make any threats to you?
No.
Make any gestures to you?
No.
Were they laughing at you?
No.
And then you talked about riding Karim's bike away and then ditching the bike and then proceeding on foot. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Was there any part of you that thought to do that as a ruse to make it look like you went one way and then go another?
No.
When you carry the knife in your pocket, do you carry it with the point up or the point down?
With the point down.
And so the sharp tip of the knife would be down at the bottom of your pocket?
Yes.
And so you were living in Tracy at this time?
Yes.
And is there public transit from Tracy up to Davis?
Can you repeat that?
Take like an Amtrak bus from Tracy to Davis?
No.
So I want to advance a little bit. I want to talk to you about Kimberly Guillory.
Okay.
Why was it that you left your home that night?
I think it was to get rid of the whispers.
And these are the whispers that getting fresh air helps you with,
Yes.
and that listening to music helps you with?
Yes.
Did you bring your music with you?
I don't think so.
And why is it that you left your phone at home?
I don't know.
And there was some discussion about what routes you take and to get different places in that area of town. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And how you would cut through the train tracks to get to Ryder Apartments?
Yes.
And the log that you would go to, you've been there on prior occasions, correct?
Yes.
Is that the same route that you would take to get to the log, where you would cut through the fence, or would you just take the city streets to the log?
I don't remember.
I'm not asking about any specific occasion. Do you remember from any time that you went to the log what route you took?
Yes.
And what route would you take?
I would take either the train tracks or through the city to downtown Davis.
Okay, so sometimes you would do, it would change?
Yes.
And on the night that you stabbed Kimberly Guillory, which route did you take?
I don't remember.
So I have here what's been marked as Defense Exhibit CC. So there's 4 files. I'm going to go to file. File 1. And do you remember the video showing you riding through downtown Davis at 11 p.m.?
Yes.
And so this video here from Davis Glass at just after 11 p.m., starting at 11 p.m. and 30 seconds, you see that there is a bicyclist in this video.
Yes.
Is that you?
I don't know.
I'm going to switch videos. I'm going to go to Cables 26A. This is the video from second and F. And you remember this video, sir?
Yes.
Okay, and you see this bike that's coming through with the kind of spinning reflectors on it?
Yes.
Just a second. Is that you?
I don't know.
When you would go to the log, would you go straight there, or would you ride around for a while or anything like that?
Objection, Vegas, the time.
Okay, sustained sharpen.
When you were going to the log, would you just go straight to the log on any occasion? Would you go straight to the log, or would you wander around?
I think a couple of times I wandered around, but for most of the time I would just go straight there.
What about on the night that you stabbed Kimberly?
I don't remember.
Okay, I have People's Exhibit 26C. This is a video from 320 K Street. Next video, I'm going to advance it to 2 minutes after 11. Pause there. see this, sir?
No.
Oh. Are you able to see this, sir?
Yes.
And can we get the license plate? So I paused it now at 11, no, I didn't pause it. At 11, or 2 minutes after 11, and some 19 seconds or so, a bicycle came onto the scene. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Sorry, computer crashed. Alright, so I'm playing it again now, and we're at 12 seconds after 2 minutes after 11.
You got it up on the screen?
Oh. Sorry. And so, a couple seconds after 11, we had that bicyclist going by Davis Glass, and then 2 minutes after 11 and 17 seconds or so, we see this bicycle that went up and then went back again. Did you see that?
Yes.
Is that you?
I'm not sure.
Because that bicyclist, it went down 3rd Street, almost made it to L, turned around and went back, right?
I just seen it go straight.
Okay, bring it up again. We're at 2 minutes after the hour now. Can we dim the lights, please? These lights right in front of the.
You can put the blinds down if you think it might help. We haven't done this yet, but let's see, hold on. Put the blackouts, let's do that. And you got one more light, right? Or is this as dark as it gets?
Without turning off all the lights.
No, don't turn them off. All right, we're doing the best we can. It's contrasted.
Are you able to see this, sir?
Yes.
And you saw the bike end of the frame start going down 3rd Street?
Yes.
And you now see it turn around and go back the way it came?
Yes.
And you see the 2 reflectors on those wheels?
Yes.
And those reflectors look like the same reflectors on your bike?
They do.
Is that you?
I'm not sure.
Because prior to the night that you stabbed Kimberly, you've been to that log before, right?
Yes.
So if you wanted to go straight to the log, you would be able to get there, right?
Yes.
And so there'd be no reason for you to be going up and down the street checking out the area, right?
Correct.
Were you going through that area so that you could look for somebody that you could stab?
No.
After you parked your bike, or strike that, where did you park your bike?
I just had it next to the log.
And then you left your bike unattended there,
Yes.
and you walked for several blocks away from your bike?
No.
I'm gonna pull out an exhibit. People's Exhibit 25A. On 25A, do you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so 3rd and L Street here, the log would be right over here at 2nd and K, right?
Somewhere around there.
And the thrift shop is all the way over here at I and 3rd, right?
Yes.
So that's a couple blocks, right?
Yes.
And so you left your bike unattended as you walked a couple blocks over to the SPCA Goodwill?
I don't remember walking there.
But you testified on direct that you walk around sometimes when you go to the log?
Yes.
You just don't remember this particular walk?
No.
And, I mean, why is it that you would leave a nice bike like that unattended in an area where, you know, you're at the railroad tracks, you don't know who might be coming there?
No, I didn't. I thought it would be okay just being there.
And you heard testimony that there are other areas where unhoused people stay in this couple blocks, right?
No.
Were Jose and Aya testifying, or the officer testifying that he found Jose and Aya at the encampment by the car wash over here, or set up by the car wash?
Yeah.
And so there are other areas around here where unhoused people stay, right?
Yes.
And if you had ridden your bike either down 3rd Street or down the railroad tracks to get to the area by 2nd and H, why is it you would then leave your bike, go on foot, and go over by the SPCA thrift shop?
I just remember there was walking on the sidewalk, or when I would walk there, there would be like trees like hanging over it, and I just found that cool to walk through it. So when I would go on my walks, I would walk through there.
Were you walking there because you were looking for someone to stab?
No.
Because you came down the tracks or you came down downtown at 11, right?
Yes.
And you're walking by the SPCA thrift shop at 11:12, right?
Objection, lack of foundation, personal knowledge.
Sustained.
Well, did you see the video of from the thrift shop and testimony about its timestamp being for 11:12?
I remember seeing the video.
All right, do you have any reason to doubt that 11:12 was the correct time?
Objection, relevance, speculation, foundation.
No, overruled.
No.
And so, I have here from Defense Exhibit CC, put that on the overhead. And I'm gonna go to video 2. Are you able to see this, sir?
Yes.
And you can see the timestamp on this video is 11:12, right?
Yes.
And that there is a car or van going down the street, and then a sedan type car 5 seconds or so later.
Yes.
And then going to People's Exhibit. I got it. 26D. Now, if we go to 26D and we pull up the video from the timestamp 2:12 p.m. or 2:12 a.m., which is adjusted 3 hours to 11:12. There's that video. Towards the end, we see an individual walking into the scene. Did you see that?
Yes.
Was that you?
I'm not sure.
Are those the clothes you were wearing?
I don't remember.
Go to the next video in the sequence. Sorry. Go to the next video in the sequence, which starts with you outside the thrift shop. Do you see that? And with the Adidas pants and the white shoes.
I can't really see that.
Okay, and I'll play forward from here. So did you see yourself turn around and walk back the other way?
Yes.
And if we play forward, you can see a car or van,
Yes.
followed by another car about 5 seconds-ish later.
Yes.
Okay, so we have first a shot from David's glass, and then from the thrift shop, showing that this is right about the correct time, right?
Yes.
And that you're there by the thrift shop 12 minutes after you went through downtown Davis, right?
Yes.
And you have the knife with you?
I don't remember.
Well, at this point, the sheath had been lost, right?
Yes.
How were you carrying it?
Without the sheath.
Was it still in your pants pocket or was it in a different pocket?
I don't recall exactly for that night, but I think it was in my pocket, my pants pocket.
I mean, wouldn't there be extra difficulty in having a knife in your pants pocket when you're riding a bicycle?
Not really.
When you bring your bicycle when your pockets are full?
Just my wallet and phone.
Okay, and when you're bicycling, your legs are moving up and down, right?
Yes.
And so, if you're moving your leg up and down and you have the knife in your pocket, does that increase the risk that you're gonna cut a hole in your pants?
Yes.
And were you taking any kind of special precautions there to keep it from cutting your pants pocket?
No.
And so, after you left the thrift shop, where did you go?
I don't remember going near the thrift shop.
Okay. What's the next thing you do remember?
Objection vague as to from when.
Sustained.
And so you got there to the log, right?
Yes.
What do you remember after that?
I just remember being at the log, and then I got up to walk, and I made a left turn towards 2nd and L. And when I was at the corner of the street, I made another left turn.
All right. And how far into your walk were you?
Objection vague as to
When,
the question.
how far, yeah,
So you're at the log.
Yes.
Started walk from your log.
Yes.
How far were you along in your walk when you had issues with shadows?
I think like 10 seconds or 5.
And so pretty quick then?
Yes.
And describe that for me, what happened?
I seen a shadow inside a tent, reaching out with his hand, telling me to come near it, or that's what I took it as. And I started to approach it, and when I was a couple inches away, the arm kind of came out at me through the tent, and that's when I flinched backwards and I threw my hand in front of me.
Okay, and you just signaled that you, and so, do you remember, testimony of Mr. Chessman?
Somewhat.
Do you remember the discussion about, cut tent line?
The what, sorry?
Say again?
The what, sorry?
The cut rope or tent line?
I don't understand.
So do you remember Mr. Chessman talking about how he had a tarp over his tent and that he was in his tent and he heard, the line being cut or somehow perceived the line being cut?
Yes.
And, did you cut Mr. Chessman's line?
No.
And when you were at the tent, you had to step off of the sidewalk, right?
I don't remember.
Well, do you remember how you got to that location that you were right in front of the tent so that you could do that punching motion?
I remember it was because the shadow was telling me to come near it, or it was signaling me to come near it.
Right, and so you went to the shadow?
Yes.
Aren't the shadows scary?
Yes.
I mean, in one instance, you had to run 50 feet out of shadow in order to stab it, right?
I don't remember.
Well, at Central Park, you said that you saw some shadow figure and you...
Objection asked and answered.
he said he didn't remember, so you can refresh his memory.
Do you remember testifying that you were at Central Park and that you saw a shadow and that you ran towards it from the other bench that was about 50 feet away?
Yes.
Okay, so in that instance, you ran towards the shadow because you thought there was some kind of aggressive action taking place, right?
I don't know why I ran towards the shadow.
And with your other descriptions of running into shadows, one on a bike near Sycamore Park and one in Sycamore Park, you described a gaping void and things of that nature, correct?
Yes,
And those are scary things, right?
yes,
So shadows are scary, right?
yes.
So if the shadows are scary, why are you going to the shadow?
I don't know, I kind of was just doing what the shadow was telling me to do.
But isn't that the whole reason why you had to act in the other two instances, to stop the shadows from doing things to you?
Well, this one was a different shadow.
How's that?
The other shadows, or at least the shadows near Sycamore Park, they were like shape shifting and riding a bicycle. And then this one, it was just telling me, or what I thought to be a hand telling me to come near it.
So this one wasn't scary.
It was still scary.
So then why did you go to it?
I just did. I don't know why.
So after you follow what the shadow is telling you what to do, what happens next?
Then I was a couple inches away, and that's when the shadow's hand came at me through the tent, and that's when I like backed up and my hand flinched towards the shadow.
And you described that earlier in your testimony just now as his hand, correct?
Or the shadow's hand.
So when you react, can you show us what it is that you do?
Yeah, so when it came at me, I backed up, and then with my other hand, I kind of put it in front of me.
And so you're making a fist with your knuckles forward, and then you're moving your hand forward with your knuckles leading the way, correct?
Yes,
And if you had a knife in your hand, the knife would be to the side, right?
yes,
And so that could cut someone, but not a stab, right?
yes,
And so, and there was only one?
yeah.
At what height?
I don't remember.
Were you standing?
Yeah,
Were you kneeling?
no,
Were you bent over?
I don't think so.
You remember the testimony about Kimberly Guillory, right?
Yes,
And how she testified that she was in her tent sitting down on her electronic device,
I remember that she was on the electronic device.
and she was up against the wall of the tent,
Yes,
sitting,
yes,
and that you remember the medical testimony about where her injuries are, right?
yes,
One is down by her buttocks and one is her kidney.
yes,
So she's sitting in the tent and then she gets those stab wounds from you. Those are really low down to the ground, right?
Section foundation.
Overall, based on the setup, you can answer.
yes,
And so that would be very inconsistent with you being frightened and then suddenly punching something. That would require you to bend over or get down to a lower level in order to administer those blows, correct?
correct.
Is that what happened?
I don't remember.
And you stabbed her twice, right?
I don't remember, but according to the evidence, yeah.
And you thought it was a punch, right?
Yes,
And you heard Kimberly also describe that as a punch, right?
I don't remember.
That she described that she was getting punched and didn't realize that she was being stabbed?
I think so.
And so your testimony is also that you thought you were bringing a punch and didn't know that you were stabbing.
Yes.
What happened next?
Next, I heard a scream, and I got scared, and I went to my bike and started to bike home.
So you went back around the building to your bike and you started to go home?
Yes.
Now, do shadows scream?
I don't know.
And in this instance, as in the prior stabbing, as soon as help was responding, you fled, right?
I don't.
Foundation is the help responder.
Sustain.
So in Sycamore Park, when Dr. Massey showed up, you fled. And in this case, when you hear a scream and there starts to be other people moving about in response to the scream, you flee, right?
I just remember the scream.
Okay? And so this is because you knew you were stabbing somebody and you knew that other people were going to intervene and you needed to get away, correct?
No.
And you knew that you were at risk of getting caught because you had been screamed and you'd been detected, correct?
No.
In both instances, as soon as you were detected, that's when you fled, right?
No.
Now, when you went back to your bike, you took the knife with you?
I think it was still with me.
And where did it go?
I don't know.
Did you put it in your pocket?
I'm not sure.
And so you got back on your bike and you rode over to 3rd Street and rode down?
Yes.
And when you were on 8th Street, you talked about almost getting hit by a car. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you cut through that block there between H and G?
I don't know what block that is.
So, going back to the map, and this is people's 25A. So you came down 3rd Street and then turned onto H, right?
Yes.
And then you thought you almost got hit by a car, right?
Yes.
And then did you cut through the block here to get to G Street?
I don't remember.
Okay, so going to the video from Ace Hardware. What is CCTV snack? Ace Hardware, we're going to advance to about 11:45. Just saw you ride on the bicycle down the street, right?
I didn't catch that.
Back up just a moment. Did you see that?
Yes.
As you riding your bicycle down H Street?
I'm not sure.
Well, you saw the shot from Davis Glass, showing the bike going down, right?
If I seen the bike or a person.
The person on the bike.
I remember it was going towards Second and L.
Alright, this is the route you took though, right?
Yeah.
And so if this happened at exactly 11:45 according to the timestamp, and we play forward from there, there's a car coming northbound. Do you see that?
Yes.
About 15 seconds, 14 seconds after the hour. And there's this van coming about 25 seconds after the 11:45. You see that?
Yes.
Was it the vehicle coming northbound that you thought almost hit you, or the van coming southbound?
I thought it was a van that was coming towards me, but yeah.
Mm, what were you doing in that block for the next 5 minutes?
I'm not sure.
Did you have any issues with your bike?
Yes.
What issues did you have with your bike?
I remember when the car almost hit me, I like moved out the way, and I kind of almost hit a wall. I don't know if it was a wall or a pole, and I stumbled back. I almost fell off my bike, and then I tried to ride it again, but I noticed the chain was off.
And you spent about 5 minutes then working on your bike, right?
I don't know what I was doing.
Right. No issues with shadows during that time?
No.
And eventually, we were able to see that you came back out onto G Street at 2nd, right?
Yeah.
And that was after about 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
And so, from the time of the stabbing, it's taken a minute or maybe less than a minute for you to get to your bike. And then it takes a little bit for you to get on your bike and ride up to 3rd Street, ride over to 8th Street, and ride down, right?
Yeah.
And then you're hiding, or you're located in that block for about 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
And so, total time from the stabbing at this point is something like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something in that area?
According to what you're saying, yes.
All right, and do you remember the testimony or the exhibit showing when the 911 calls came out?
I don't remember exact time, but I do remember seeing the calls.
All right, so the 911 calls are going to the dispatch center right around the same period of time, right?
Yes.
Protection Foundation. Wound strike.
Grant.
Do you remember that?
I just remember the calls, but not the exact time.
Okay. Why is it that if your bike still wasn't working, you left that area?
I just wanted to get home.
Was it because of the sirens?
No, I didn't hear any sirens.
You didn't hear the police responding, anything like that?
No.
When you went further down, you went into UC Davis, you stopped to work on your bike again, right?
Yes.
So why is it okay to work on your bike at UC Davis, but not here at this location?
Objection argumentative.
No, I'll allow it. Overruled.
I didn't really know another spot besides where I started to fix the chain, or I tried to fix the chain.
What was wrong with the spot that you were already in for fixing the chain?
I just remember being at Memorial Union.
Right, so, but when you first almost got hit by the car, hit the pole, had issues with your bike, what was wrong with that spot for fixing the chain?
I couldn't fix the chain. I was unsuccessful.
And so why didn't you just keep working on it there? Why did you then take it and move it all the way over to Memorial Union and then try and fix it there?
I don't know.
Is it because you wanted to get away?
No.
Because you were afraid of getting caught?
No.
Because you heard a person scream, and at the very least, you knew the police would be coming sometime soon?
No, I didn't realize that.
And then you went to the Memorial Union. What was going on there when you got to Memorial Union, you went northbound, and then you turned around and started coming back?
I don't remember.
And when you went into that cut,
I don't know.
I mean, there was other very well-lit areas that you could go to, right?
I don't know.
I mean, the ATM was right there, wasn't it?
Yes.
And that was an extremely well-lit ATM, right?
Yes.
And if you were just trying to fix your bike and not trying to get out of the normal line of sight at all, you could have just fixed your bike at the ATM, right?
Yes.
Well, why did you do that?
I think because I didn't know that spot well, so I went to a spot that I knew, and that's where I started to try to fix the chain.
Why did you know the worker entrance spot better?
I just knew the Memorial Union better,
But the ATMs are also at Memorial Union, right?
but not like where the
Check
main
352
building.
Overruled. You can finish your answer. Thank you.
Not where the main building is at.
So the ATMs were right next to the little alcove where you were working on your bike. They are like right next to each other. Why not the ATMs? Why not out in the open? Why are you in that little recess?
I don't know.
Because you wanted to get out of the normal line of sight, right?
No.
Because you were afraid of getting caught, right?
No.
Why is it that after that you went to Memorial Union and started checking the doors there?
Objection to the state's evidence.
Checking doors?
Yeah.
I don't recall that testimony. So, rephrase it.
Okay, so after you left the cubby, you remember the video showing that you kind
Cubby, what's that cubby? I'm sorry, I don't know that term.
the little employee entrance area.
Okay.
When you left the employee entrance area, you went down around the corner to the doors of Memorial Union, right?
I don't remember that.
All right. And do you remember seeing the video of it?
From the video, it looked like I just went to like the corner of where the trash was at, and that's where I started to fix my chain.
Okay. And then after that, where'd you go?
I don't remember.
You went around the south side of Memorial Union, right?
I think I went through it,
Through the building?
or like through Memorial Union.
Right.
Like there's a building and then there's a field. I think I went through where you usually, or like where students would usually go through.
Did you go through the field or did you go through the building?
I went through the pathway that goes in between the field and the building.
Alright, so if we look at the map, this is 25A. When we look at Memorial Union, when we zoom in here, you came past Dem Hall to East Quad and then northbound past Memorial Union, turned around, came back, went past the ATM, and then went into that little employee area, right?
Yes.
And from that area, you went down south, you went here, kind of towards the doors, possibly checking these doors, and then out of sight,
Objection
right?
to the state's testimony.
Well, we're back to the door checking. I'm sorry, and I apologize, I missed that, so.
Well, let me just clarify, did you check any doors?
Not that I remember.
Alright, so you went by the doors, right?
Which doors?
So these doors on the south side of Memorial Union, did you go by them?
I don't remember.
And so, from here, you went where?
I went,
East Laser Point?
yeah. I went across Memorial Union through here.
And where'd you go from there?
Then I think I went up here. And yeah, I don't remember after that.
So I'm gonna pause you here. You're at the ATMs in that little employee entrance area working on your bike, right?
Yes.
Why go south at all when your house is north?
I don't know.
Is there somewhere other than your house that you were going? Why not take if you're just going home and you're not worried about anything, why don't you just take the fastest route back to your house?
I'm not sure.
talk to you about what happened after this, what happened on May 3rd. On May 3rd, you went on your computer and you accessed the UC Davis website, correct?
I don't remember that.
You remember making an advising appointment?
No.
You remember logging into your student profile?
No.
You remember going to Schedule Builder?
No.
Because prior to this point, you weren't aware that you had been kicked out of school, right?
No.
Because you hadn't read that email, right?
Correct.
And so having not read this email, this would have been the time where you log into your student profile and see that you're not in your classes anymore, right?
I don't know.
And the reason you went in the Schedule Builder is to try and add back into classes, right?
I don't remember going, checking Schedule Builder.
Did you see the testimony from Mr. Chase indicating that you visited Schedule Builder?
Yes.
Do you have any reason to doubt that you did go to Schedule Builder?
No.
And so that is on the morning of the 3rd, right?
I'm not sure.
And so it's after that that you then go to Sycamore Park where you're spotted by Justin Schaefer, right?
I don't remember going to Sycamore Park.
Say again?
I don't remember going to Sycamore Park.
Okay, do you remember the testimony about Sycamore Park and Justin Schaefer?
Yes.
Okay, but you do remember that you wanted to go to the store for bread, right?
Yes.
And specifically that there was a hole in your bread bag, right?
Yes.
So, this defense VV. So I have defense exhibit VV. And you remember talking about this on direct?
About the bread?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, pause for just a second. I'm gonna stand up and stretch. Feel free to join me. And while that was fun, having the blackouts down, let's take the blackouts up. We'll keep the shades on.
And I'm zooming in on the bread. You able to see that, sir?
Yes.
Using your laser pointer, show us where the hole was.
From what I can see, I think it was right here.
On
And,
the left side of the photo?
yeah, and then one right here.
Well, this one in the center of the bread, that's just the crinkles outside the bread crust, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what it looks like.
But on the left side is where your testimony was that there was holes?
Yes.
Okay. Where are the holes?
There's one right here,
Okay?
but from what I remember, there was one like a bigger hole on the side of the bread bag. The bread bag,
Which side?
the left side.
Okay, so right here?
Yeah.
Okay. And so from this photo, photo one, looking at the left is where the holes are.
Yes.
And this is the reason why you had to go out to the store, right?
Or yeah, that's what when I thought to myself that I needed more bread.
Okay. Now, you had already 2 loaves of bread there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna approach you with the mark for identification purposes equals 101. So I'm approaching with the mark for identification purposes equals 101. I'm showing you 2 photos, one ending in 089 and one ending in 090. Are you able to see both these photos?
Not the first one. Yeah.
Okay, you able to see them both?
Yeah.
All right, are these photos of your desk and the bread and it's there?
Yes.
Publish.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with photo 89. This is a photo of your desk showing the bread, right?
Yes.
If we did light, please. And this photo was not a photo that was included on Defense VB, right?
I don't think so.
And so from this photo, we can see that there's the loaf of bread we've been talking about, and then like a partially consumed loaf of bread next to it, right?
Yes.
And if we zoom in here, we can see this entire left side of this loaf of bread, right?
Yes.
Where are the holes?
I don't see them.
There is no holes, right?
No.
And so there is no holes in this loaf of bread.
Objection, this states evidence.
Okay.
Okay, you said the holes were on the left side. We're looking at the left side. Where are the holes?
I just
Objection, this states
Sustained.
testimony.
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to BB. From BB, we have this loaf of bread. Show us again from BV where these holes are.
Objection, compound. Spraying holes.
Right.
Can you show us any area where there's a hole?
Objection, asked and answered. He's already identified that.
That's all right, you can do it again. One more time.
so I think there's a hole right here. And from what I remember, there were more there was like a bigger hole towards the left of one of the bread bags.
All right, and when you say the left, you're talking about the left side of this photo, right?
Yes.
Correct. So, when we go back to People's 101, and I go to photo 89. It's the same loaf of bread, correct?
Yes.
And the side that is facing us in this photo is the same side that you previously referred to as the left side, correct?
Yes.
And that is the side that should have holes. Or is there some other side?
No, I remember it being on the left side.
Okay? And is there any holes in the bread bag in this photo that you can identify for us?
Not that I could see.
And in fact, you have a full loaf of bread and a partially consumed loaf of bread, correct?
Yes.
So you didn't actually need bread, correct?
I thought I did.
what actually happened was that you'd seen that you got kicked out of UC Davis, and so you got your knife and went back to Sycamore Park, correct?
No.
Well, why go to Sycamore Park with nothing but a knife?
I don't remember that.
Because if you were shopping for bread, you would bring things like a wallet to pay for bread, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Not overruled.
Yes.
And you didn't bring your phone, right?
I don't think so.
So it wasn't for listening, you weren't listening to music or anything like that, right?
Right.
And so, in fact, you had no watch, no phone, no wallet, no keys.
Objection, compound.
No, overruled.
Isn't that correct?
That I didn't have any of those?
Correct.
Yeah.
You just had the bag and the knife, correct?
I remember the bag.
And you had the bag so that you could carry the knife because it was sharp and difficult to carry, right?
I don't know if it was that specific reason.
The knife was in the bag, wasn't it?
Yes.
And so after visiting the website and going to Schedule Builder, you went to Sycamore Park, correct?
I don't remember going to Sycamore Park.
And when you were in Sycamore Park, it was there because you were looking for another way to assault someone, correct?
No.
Because you didn't need bread. This thing about bread is not accurate, correct?
I thought I needed bread.
There's no holes in the bread.
Objection, misstates evidence.
We're done with the bread questions.
Okay.
Yeah, move on.
Did you see? Okay, so from the photos we see, we can't see any holes in the bread.
Objection, misstates.
Sustained. Move off the bread, come on.
All right. So when you were in Sycamore Park, you brought your knife, right?
I don't remember being in Sycamore Park.
And you weren't carving or throwing knife, right? You were just sitting.
I don't remember being there at all.
I mean, the reason why you might have your knife there is to carve and throw, correct?
Yes.
But you weren't engaged in any of that, right?
I don't remember.
And you didn't leave the park until Justin Schaefer spotted you and you made eye contact, right?
I don't remember.
When you left the park, what route did you take?
I just remember being on Pine, I think it's called Pine Street or Pine Road, and going north on it.
And you remember taking kind of a roundabout way to get to the grocery store?
What do you mean by roundabout way?
You know, I mean, so do you remember Justin Schaefer testifying?
Yes, a little bit.
And do you remember him drawing out the route that you took after he spotted you at Sycamore Park?
Yes.
And do you remember taking a different route, or is that the route that you remember taking?
I remember just going on Pine Street and going north.
So I have here people's 65 and 66. So starting with 65, do you have any memory that would contradict this being the route that you took to exit Sycamore Park after being spotted by Justin Schaefer?
Objection, asked and answered. He's already testified he doesn't remember.
Several times.
Okay, so after you left Sycamore Park, you remember being on Pine, right?
Yes, on Pine Road or Pine Street.
All right, do you remember taking this particular route when you left Sycamore Park? Or after being in that area?
Yes, I think that's the route that I took to go to Safeway.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
I think that's the route I took to go to Safeway.
Why wouldn't you go out, down Bucknell, up Pine, and then left on Villanova, and then north on Sycamore? Why would you take kind of three sides around that square instead of just taking the short stack?
I don't know.
Was it because you've been spotted by Justin Schaefer and you're trying to walk away from him?
No, I didn't know he was following me.
And you went over to Safeway, right?
Yes,
And you had no money, right?
I thought I paid with cash, but I don't really remember.
All right, and then after Sycamore Park is when you were contacted by officers, correct?
Yes,
The state's testimony.
Overruled.
Right, so you went to Safeway, got the bread, got the apple, got the other things that are there, and then you were contacted by officers, correct?
yes, a little or when I was on, I think on Pine Street again, walking south.
And do you remember speaking with the officers?
Just about them taking me to the police department.
So I have here people's 33D, officer story body camera. Are you able to see this, sir? Or person? Are you able to see this, sir?
Yes,
And so, play forward to the 1 second mark.
Oh, careful, careful. Do you have an ID or anything on you?
No.
Okay.
Alright, can I pause at the 11 second mark? Were you able to see that so far, sir?
yes,
So during this contact, you knew you were talking to the police, correct?
yes,
No shadows,
no,
no supernatural beings?
no,
What's your name, bro?
John.
John? What's your last name, John? What's your last name, John?
Jonas?
Sorry?
Jonas.
Sorry.
So I pause at the 23 second mark. Were you able to hear that, sir?
yes,
Did you tell the officer Jonas?
yes,
Why Jonas?
I don't know.
You mentioned earlier that you'd used the false name John Joas during a prior police contact. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes,
In that prior contact, did you use Joas or Jonas?
I believe it was Joe's.
And so why did it say Jonas here?
I don't know.
And here, you knew you had a knife in this bag, right?
I don't know.
Okay, play a little forward from here.
You have something to write with? No, like a notepad. Yeah. How do you spell your name? J-O-H-N? H-N? Your last name? Uh-huh.
J-O-A-S.
J-O-A-S?
Yeah.
And you,
Alright, so you've given the officers the false name again, correct?
Yes,
And you knew what your real name was, right?
yes.
And why give them the false name?
I don't know exactly why, but I think I thought the same thing was gonna happen when I had the first encounter with the police and I gave them John Joas. I thought they would just say that I could go.
And so, was this paranoia kicking in?
I think so.
Did you give this false name to the officers because you were paranoid?
I'm not fully sure of that.
Have you previously stated that you gave a false name to the officers because you were paranoid?
I don't remember.
Now, paranoia was a theme for you during this time, right? You were feeling a lot of paranoia?
Yeah.
Did you believe the police were going to hurt you?
No.
Did you believe that you were in any kind of danger?
I don't think so.
If you didn't think that you were in any danger, I mean, what's the source of the paranoia here?
It's just like the feeling that I started to get.
Just a bad feeling?
Yeah.
Now, was this a mistake to give the officers the false name, or did you know at the time that you were giving them a false name?
I don't think I knew.
Did you think your name was actually John Joas?
To some extent, but not my actual name.
Now, when you spoke with Dr. Ree, you told her, "That's when police stopped me. I was paranoid to tell them my real name. I thought they were against me. I didn't want to give them the real name." Correct?
I don't remember what was specifically said, but I remember speaking with them.
Okay. You don't remember telling Dr. Ree that?
No.
That you were paranoid and that you didn't want to give the officers your real name?
No.
Is that the case, that you just didn't want to give your officers the real name despite knowing what your actual name is?
I think I thought that the same thing was going to happen with the prior incident where the police stopped me by Central Park. I thought they were just going to say that I was able to go.
And you wanted to go because you knew you killed 2 people and attempted to kill a third, and that you needed to get out of it, right?
No.
In fact, during the contact, you talked with the officers about the reason for the stop, right?
I don't remember.
Okay, I'm gonna put it back on the screen, it's 33D.
Your date of birth.
1999,
Uh-huh.
10,
Uh-huh.
10.
10/10 of 99?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is there a reason you're collecting my information, or?
So, the reason we're talking to you right now is, are you aware of what's been going on in the city?
The whole, like, Davis?
The homicides and
Yeah.
stuff? So,
Okay, so stop at 123. When you were talking with the officers, you told them you knew what was going on about the homicides, right?
I think Officer Story said the homicides.
Right, and you replied in the affirmative, correct?
Yeah, I think I said something about Davis.
Are we back in 10 seconds?
so, the reason we're talking to you right now is, are you aware of what's been going on in the city?
The whole, like, Davis?
The homicides and
Yeah.
stuff? So, people are calling in all kinds.
So he said the homicides and stuff, and you replied, yeah, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you're acknowledging to Officer Story, you do in fact know that there's been homicides going on in the city of Davis.
I was referring to the crime alerts that I had seen.
Okay, and what were the crime alerts that you'd seen?
It was just a notification that popped up, and I kind of just took a glance at it.
Alright, and what did they tell you?
I just seen the crime alert, or that's what I read.
Were the crime alerts specific to homicides?
I didn't know.
Alright, but when Officer Story asked specifically about homicide, you said, yeah, correct?
Yes.
Objection. This state's video speaks for itself.
Yes, it does.
The reason we're talking to you right now is, are you aware of what's been going on in the city?
The whole, like, Davis.
The homicides and stuff. So people are calling in all kinds of stuff. They're calling in anybody and everybody that,
Okay, so I paused at 128. Did you see yourself looking down inside the bag during the video?
Yeah, I think when I almost dropped it.
Okay, and were you, and you had a knife in the bag, right?
I think at that point I didn't know.
And so you're looking down in the bag to see if the knife is visible in the bag, to see if the knife is going to be detected while it's in the bag, correct?
I don't think so.
matches, potentially matches the description of that person. And so we're not saying that you are that guy or anything. We're responding out, making contact, saying like, hey, this is what's going on. We're having to investigate every possible lead that we have, Do you live nearby here?
Yeah.
Where at?
It's a few blocks.
A few blocks? Okay. Are you a university student?
Yeah.
Okay. What year are you?
Registration? 2024.
2024? Okay. Where are you from originally?
Bay Area.
Oh, okay. Can I get my systems on one by reverse? Last of the John Ocean, Adam Sam, first of John with an H, 10 of 99.
What is it?
What do you have in your bag, man? Can I look real quick?
What?
Can I just see?
Yeah.
Okay, so I stopped at 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Do you see that?
Yes.
And so you are physically looking down in your bag and moving contents of the bag around with your hand, right?
I think I was looking in my bag.
Okay. And you're seeing the knife in the bag, right?
I don't think so.
And you're acting as if there is no knife in the bag, correct?
I think at that point I didn't know there was a knife there.
I mean, at some point, did you believe the knife was in your pocket, or where did you think the knife was?
I don't know.
Red.
You just come from the grocery store?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any weapons or anything on you?
No.
Any knives or guns or anything against New York? Do you mind, now I'm asking permission, do you mind if I check really quick?
I do.
You do mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have some bit.
Okay, we're not trying to keep you from what you're doing or anything.
I'm kind of running late too.
Okay.
I don't want to bother you guys or anything. Just
Do you have a driver's license or an ID card in the state of California?
not a driver's license.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the proper spelling of your name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I see your hands? You know, it looks like old cuts and scratches.
Oh yeah. I've just been doing a lot of.
I paused at 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Were you able to see that, sir?
Yes.
And the officer's asking about cuts and scratches on your hands, correct?
Yes.
And you almost put the bag down on the ground, right?
Yes.
Why not put it down on the ground if you don't know that there's a knife in it?
I don't know.
Because if you had put it on the ground, they'd be able to see the knife in there, you'd be caught, right?
I think I did put it down at one point.
You're holding onto the bag and showing them your hands with the bag still in your hands because you know that if you put that knife down, you're gonna get caught. Or if you put that bag down, they'll see the knife and you'll get caught, right?
No.
Because you know there's a knife in that bag.
I don't think I knew.
Stress.
A lot of stress.
Yeah.
How'd you get those?
Myself.
Yourself?
Okay, so here at 404, you're telling the officers that you, the injury on your hands, were self-inflicted, right?
Yes.
So we've talked about the one that was in your room, in the area of your computer. Were the other ones also self-inflicted?
I don't remember the other ones being self-inflicted.
Where'd you get them
Thank you.
from?
Let's stop there. Hold your question. Okay, thank you, Mr. Dominguez, and you can return to council's table. Thank you for your testimony.
Okay,
We got
thank you.
more questions on the backside of the break.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, we've got our afternoon break, and I'll see you in 15 minutes. Enjoy your break, and remember the three-part admonition. Thank you, folks. Off the record.
let's go back on the record after our afternoon break, and Mr. Carlos Dominguez is in the witness stand. He's subject to cross-examination. Mr. Vanderhook.
So, sir, I'm gonna put on the screen Officer Gonzalez's body camera, looks like people's 33C. Picking up from the 5-minute, 49-second mark. This is the part that we talked about with you looking in your bag, you remember that?
Can I see? That one looks fresh. The one in your left hand?
Yeah. It was
And he's asking about the injuries on your hand, and the bag is slipping in your hands for a couple times. Is that right? You're having a little difficulty holding on to it?
I don't remember that part of the video.
Okay? Why don't you just put the bag down?
I don't know.
personal problems.
Personal problems?
Yeah.
Okay. You normally cut right here? You normally cut right here on you cut yourself?
Well, I don't know how we can properly, I mean, maybe he doesn't have a license, he doesn't have a license.
Do you have like a school ID or anything on you? If we check you out through the university database, are you a registered student
I'm registered.
with UC Davis?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have your address in case we need to follow up with you?
Yeah.
Okay, what is it? Is it a house or an apartment? Hawthorne? 782 Hawthorne? How long have you been living here? 2 years? Do you live with anyone else? Just you by yourself? The whole house, just all you yourself? Yeah, roommates? No, but there's other people in the house. Yeah, okay. You don't talk to them? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, can you just hang tight for me really quick, John?
I'd like to get Henry out, you get out here and talk to us.
Yes. Can you do me a favor? Can you put that bag down for me? Yeah. Because I'm gonna search it for it, it's okay? I know you, I'm gonna search it for it, just put the bag down, please. Drop the bag.
Okay, so I've stopped at 8 minutes and 21 seconds. Were you able to see that, sir?
Yes.
And so you talked earlier about putting the bag down. The only time you put the bag down was when the officer was already going to grab your arm and make physical contact with you, correct?
I don't remember that.
Now, you testified that earlier when you gave officers the name John Joas back in March or so, that they let you go, and that's why you did it again this time, because you wanted to get let go again, correct?
Yes.
And when they didn't let you go, did that make you nervous?
I don't remember.
You were feeling current at the time, and you didn't want to be there, correct?
I don't remember.
And after the handcuffs were placed on you, that's when you really understood that you'd been caught, right?
I just remember being in handcuffs in the curb.
Do you remember watching the video of Detective Muscardini interviewing you at the scene?
No, I don't remember.
Is there a reason why your demeanor or how you're speaking would change between Officer Soria Gonzalez and Officer Muscardini, other than the fact that you were placed in handcuffs for a while there?
I don't know.
So when they took you down to the station, you asked to have your bag go with you, right?
I don't remember.
And you wanted the bag with you because you knew there was a knife in there, and you were still holding out that the officers would find the knife, correct?
I don't remember.
And when you got to the station, why is it that you remember specifically that it was Steve Ramos that was at the station with you?
I just remember him having I think he tried having a conversation with me, but then we just walked into the police department.
So that part you have a very specific memory of.
Just that it was Steve, or I think it was Steve Ramos that walked up to me.
And so, do you think it was Steve Ramos, or was it Steve Ramos?
I think it was Steve Ramos.
And so you have a good memory of that.
Yeah.
But your memory about everything that happened before that was less clear, or just some parts?
I just remember, I think, some parts.
Alright, so I understand that your testimony is that you don't remember stabbing people. Just based on your knowledge of your body and how you do things and how you move around and that sort of thing, if you were to stab somebody, how would you hold them?
Objection, speculation, 352.
Sustained.
Have you ever stabbed anything with a knife before?
No.
Like you stabbed one, yeah. Street in Sycamore Park. So, sir, you testified on direct about this carving in the tree at Sycamore Park. Do you remember that?
Yes.
How big was that?
It wasn't that big, but you could see what it was.
How big is not that big?
I think it was like 6 inches of length and 6 inches of width.
Understood. So I have here what's been marked for identification purposes, people's bond 4. It's a USB containing a single photo. Can I approach?
Okay.
See people's bond 4?
Yeah.
Is that the tree with the face?
Yes.
Can I publish?
Okay.
Can you see this, sir?
Yes.
Can you use the laser pointer to show us where the face is on this?
Have to zoom in.
Well, are you able to see it without zooming in?
Yeah, I can see it a little bit.
Where's it at?
I think it's right here.
Okay, I'm gonna zoom in on that area. Is that the face that you're talking about?
Yes.
And you see these leaves and branches here?
Yes.
Seeing this photo in this context, do you still think that it's 6 inches big?
No, it's probably smaller.
Yeah. Based on this photo, how big do you think that is?
Like 4 inches maybe.
And so this face, what image were you trying to make when you carved that?
Just like the features of a face, so the eyes, the nose, and the mouth.
Any particular face?
No.
Were you trying to draw a devil or anything of that nature?
No.
And this is right at the exit for Sycamore Park,
Yes.
and this is right before the bridge that you crossed on a bicycle of Karim's defeat scene, right?
I don't remember crossing it. I just remember leaving it in the bush.
Other than this face, did you carve any other things into the trees in Sycamore Park between December of 2022 and May of 2023?
No.
No additional questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vanderhook. That was cross-examination. Mr. Hutchinson, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Dominguez, thank you for your testimony. You can return to counsel's table.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hutchinson, do you have a witness you'd like to call?
Can you approach briefly, Your Honor?
Okay, sure. Thank you. Off the record. Feel free to stand and stretch. Deputy, will you have him step forward?
just concluded the testimony of Carlos Dominguez. Mr. Hutchinson, subject to the court's formal ruling on the admissibility of documents, and as such, does the defense rest?
Defense restaurant.
Okay, so both sides have had a case in chief. And so I am going to meet with the lawyers on some what we call law and motion matters, also on jury instructions and things of that sort, and whether there's any additional evidence that will be produced. So there are a variety of issues that I'm going to work with the lawyers on. As a result of that, and given where we're at, and given that I've already indicated that tomorrow's a half day, I'm going to order you back on Thursday. So and allow the lawyers a date to work on their case, and given the status of this. So I want to get started at, I hesitate because I do need a little bit of time on Thursday with the lawyers. And I think we'll be ready by 9:30. Yeah. So Thursday at 9:30, and plan on Friday at 9:30 for 2 full days this week. So again, tomorrow, no court. That's I should have just led with that. Anyway, you can see this, my brain working. I got to my conclusion there. So remember the 3-part admonition at all times, and that is don't form any hard and fast opinions about this case until you're in deliberations and working with your fellow jurors. And do not research anything about this case, and do not discuss the substance of this case with anyone. If somebody contacts you, or one of these 3 rules is compromised in some way, make sure to write a note and give that note to the bailiff so I can address it. And I just want to say thank you for your service today, and I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you, folks.